All right, guys, welcome to the Jungle Scout data import video. If you're coming over from the Helium 10 quick start video, then this will look similar. The only difference is I've selected Jungle Scout as my main competitor source. I've got Helium 10 as a backup source. Again, that's optional. You can just kind of leave it as set if you're not using it. It's not that important. The Jungle Scout, though, is here in green. We want to make sure that's set to Jungle Scout if that's what we're using. All of these Async files we want to have checked like this. And then if we scroll down, we want to make sure we have the keyword scout, and our JE stands for Jungle Extension. JE2 is the Jungle 2 extension. And the Jungle 2 is, again, if you, as you can see there that I've hovered over here, it says only required if your ASIN isn't already included in JE. So maybe if your ASIN in our kind of main keyword search is not in the top 60 listings, that we're going to download and get that Jungle Scout extension data, then you are going to want to make sure to have that checked. So in this video, I'm just going to have that checked. And just like in the previous video, we're going to go up and hit import data, or I'm sorry, hit download new data. You do want to make sure you're already kind of logged in to, in this case, Jungle Scout. And I'm going to hit yes. And you'll see the tabs are going to open up here. Again, if you don't see the tabs, make sure you look up in the URL bar for that pop-up blocker icon. And if you see it, you need to click on it and just disable that pop-up blocker. The tabs that are going to open up, there's going to be fewer than the Helium 10 because the way they do the listing files, you actually have to one by one go in and kind of type in the ASIN. So we're just going to paste it in from our settings tab. So you can see here, it kind of takes us to that screen. So we're going to start with any ASIN. I'm going to download the extension files first here. All right, and then when we go to the first Amazon page that's on the search page for, you can see it plugged in Golf Travel Case automatically. You'll just go up to your Jungle Scout, run the extension. One thing you want to double check is that you have all the columns enabled. So you can go up and click on menu here. All right, and you just want to double check that you have kind of the settings as I show here with all of the columns for both the extension and the Amazon pages. Actually, you may just need the extension ones. I think the Amazon page is related to like an inline section, but anyway, make sure, I would just turn both of them on just to be safe. Hit apply changes, and then we're just going to download then the report here. So you'll go back to the main menu and then download CSV. All right, and we're going to go back now to our keyword source new folder, and there'll be a JS, which stands for Jungle Scout. And then similarly to the Helium 10, this one's going to be JE, and then the next one's going to be JE2. So you would just name it JE. Again, no CSV after it. You don't need to worry about that. Just save that. I'm going to X out because I already have that one, and I'm going to X there. And then this other one is only needed again if your ASIN that is the first ASIN, which is yours, is not included in the initial download that we just did. You'll need to go ahead and just download this one. So same deal. You want to make sure, obviously, you've got all the column headers, which we already enabled in the previous window. So download CSV. And then this one's going to be JE2. So right there, we got JE2, and then I would hit save, X out of that. And then now we've got the keyword scout. This is the reverse ASIN search, so similar to Cerebro. So what we need to do here is actually go back to our top 10 ASINs. We're just going to copy our list here. And then we're going to go to this box here, hit enter, or hit Control V to paste it, and then we'll hit search. You do want to make sure you have the right marketplace. There's not a way to automatically change that. So if you know, change your marketplace before you hit search accordingly. All right, and then once it finishes, you'll see it didn't return quite as many as Helium 10, but that's all right. It's still quite a few, so we're just going to leave it at that. If it returned a ton, you can do the same type of deal with the keyword search volume and assign a minimum to there, just to kind of whittle it down. I like to usually get between 2,000 and 3,000, but in this case, we'll just leave it as is. You do want to make sure we have all the columns selected. I think by default, we probably don't. So I'm just going to go ahead and select all of these. I'm not 100% sure if it always exports all of these or not, but just to be safe. All right, so I got all those selected. I'll hit save. All right, and what we want to do now is download the CSV. All right, it says it's ready, hit download. All right, now we're going to go back to keyword source new. We're going to go to JS, and this one is going to be named JS. So just the letter J, the letter S, no extension or anything. We're going to hit save. I've already got this one, so I'm just going to hit cancel. All right, and then now all that we have left is to get our asyn files. So with this one, it doesn't open the 10 tabs. There's no way to do that. So we're just going to grab each asyn and save the file. So it's a little more tedious, but it's still not that bad. Start with any asyn. Make sure you have the country that you want, and we're just going to type that in, hit next step. All right, you do need to have a list by default. So you have to create one down here, and then I just named it test, and then you can just select test. Then we're going to hit apply. All right, and then I'm going to process this and hit apply next. You only have to do this once, this process I'm doing here. All right, and then it gets you to what we want, which is it pulls in all the listing information for us. Again, we haven't typed in anything. We just kind of the default import here, and then that's what we want to download. So we're just going to download this, and when it opens, you're going to go to keyword source new Jungle Scout, and then you'll name it the exact same way we did before. So it would have been smart to actually, no, I still have it on my copy. So you just do 1_ Control V, and then it pastes the name, and then you can save that. I'm going to hit cancel because I already have it. All right, and then what you'll want to do is, actually what I should have done is, let me try to duplicate this now. Let's see if this, so you can just duplicate it, and then you'll have to hit start with another asyn, and then you just grab your next one, and then you're just going to do this 10 times to get all of your competitors' information. So next step. What is nice is you should have the default list and everything made, so you don't have to do that again. So you'll just click that, and then you don't need to worry about that. Hit apply and process, apply next. All right, and then you get to this, download, and then same deal. We're just gonna save that alongside the first one we did. All right, so there you go. It's this one here, and then you'd hit save, and then just grab the other 8. So I'm not going to do that right now in this example. You get the gist, but I will go back now and actually import the data. So to import the Jungle Scout data, it's the same as Helium 10. You basically have your asyn files and the main Jungle Scout data sources checked. You'll come up here. We've already got them saved to our folder, so we're just going to come up and import data. All right, and we'll get to this step. We're going to hit yes. All right, so here's a good example. We've got some that are not found. So we've got 3 of them there that got messed up. So I'll go back in and show you how to kind of troubleshoot those. And then we'll hop down here. That one imported correctly, and it looks like our JE, and usually this last one is the one that fills in at the end. So look like all those got filled in. Let's go back and open up our folder here. All right, and you can see the names here are messed up. I must have just done this as I was testing things. So that is why, if you don't name them exactly how it is on the settings tab, it's going to not work properly, but that's okay because we can just rerun it. So I'm gonna hit rename, delete those, rename, delete those. All right, and what I can do is, just how to illustrate how this works, it's only gonna download or import, that's what you use the checkboxes for, what you have checked. So I've already imported this data. I don't really need to worry about it now. I do need to still import these, so I'm just gonna deselect everything but those 3, import data again, and it's gonna rerun that import script, but it's just going to refresh these 3 files. All right, so there we go. Hit OK. All right, so if you watch the Helium 10 video, you'll know the next step is we're just going to go to the Source tab and go to our Jungle Scout settings. It gives you a chance here before it moves the initial set of keywords over to the keyword list to just verify that these settings are what you want. So again, this is going to be with the default criteria set up, and I recommend kind of keeping it this way. At least when you first get started. It's going to have all the alpha asins selected as well. That's going to be kind of a step 2 that we'll do here. But just like the Helium 10 file, you come down to step 4. You're going to go in this case now to Jungle Scout, and we're going to do add keyword scout keywords, and it's just going to populate our table after we hit yes here, and then it's going to move then all of the keywords that meet our criteria over to our target list all in one kind of fail swoop. Because this is our first import using Jungle Scout from like a blank keyword list. If we've already had like Helium 10 keywords in there, we could hit yes at this point. But I'm starting this from a clean kind of copy, so there's nothing in the target list yet, so I'm going to hit no. And you can see it's kind of pulling all the information in just the same as Helium 10. All right, and then once they've been added, you'll get this prompt. Just go ahead and hit OK, and go ahead and let the kind of green running script turn to finish, and then this update bar should fully load. So there you go, and that's how you know kind of when you can click around and everything. If you do hit this already on target list, that's going to show you in green what's already on the list. So it does take just a second. All right, we're going to go over to the Listing Wizard tab now, and you'll see that all of our ASIN data and our initial keyword set that we sent over has been populated. You can see JS stands for Jungle Scout. And then all that's left to do now is go back and pull in our alpha asins and then our manual keywords. So I'm just going to do that right now. So I'm going to go back to the Source tab and go up to step 4, click on Jungle Scout, add alpha asins. Again, you could deselect some of these that are red, or you could just leave them all selected and hit add alpha asins, hit yes. I just accidentally X'd out of the prompt, but you'll get a prompt when the alpha asin keywords have been added. You can just hit OK and either go over to the Listing Wizard tab then, or if you want to add any manual keywords, you can always go up and add a filter, and then you do fill color, and then you do white at the top. It'll put all the whites, or you could just manually go down through and say if, you know, golf bag, these aren't really applicable, but if you waterproof golf bag, that one could be. You're basically going to select all of those that you want to add manually, add keywords, add manual keywords, and just wait for this prompt to finish. All right, and then once that is done, you can hop over to the Listing Wizard tab, and if we scroll down, we'll see at the bottom we've got our alpha asins, and then the manual keywords are down there. So that is basically the process of getting all of the Jungle Scout data into the Listing Wizard tab, and then you can start using it to build out your listing, and there'll be future videos for kind of how to use all of this data, so you can check those out. But all right, so I think that's going to about do it for the Jungle Scout data import video. Obviously, if you scroll over, you can see some of the Jungle Scout related keyword research data here, and because I have my Helium 10 data in, I'll show you how to put the primary and secondary side by side. So if you wanted to compare Jungle Scout to Helium 10, you could click that, hit yes, and you get that prompt there. Now if we scroll over, you can see in blue we've got Helium 10 data next to Jungle Scout. So that just kind of illustrates how you can use the primary and secondary keyword sources there if you want to kind of import some data from both of them. But obviously, since we use the Jungle Scout, that's where as the primary, that's where the ASIN files were associated to. The Helium 10 in this example, you could have just plugged in the let's see, that would have been Cerebro data, so you would have imported that as kind of a separate, import. All right, so hopefully this all makes sense. It's pretty well the exact same process with each of these main keyword source tools, and then the auxiliary data sources like your Amazon reports and whatnot. There'll be separate videos for each of those that you can hopefully follow along with, and again, learn how to save them, learn how to import them, and ultimately learn how to use them. So I will see you guys in the next training video. Thanks.